Hello, friends. I'm Amber Nicole with Uncharted Tutoring. How are you today? My day's been a little unusual. You're getting coffee. That sounds really good. Coffee sounds delicious. Yeah, it's well, we've come to the part of the show where I tell you it's cold in New Hampshire, and that's where I am. So it's cold, and I've driven across half the state today. I also drove across half the state yesterday and part of Vermont. So yeah, the things we'll do for the sports we love. So yesterday I didn't stream because we had the opportunity to go to a ski mountain, while kids were still in school, and it was snowing that morning, so it meant really great skiing conditions. We happened to go to a town that is a little mountain that is not. Ooh, look at that, little ski emojis. That is really close to Dave's great grandfather. And that's awesome. That's cool. So we stopped in on our way home after skiing, and they have a dog, and I sat there with the dog in the lazy boy and started falling asleep. And in that process, my phone slipped out of my pocket. So I went, I don't know, 20 hours without my cell phone over the last day. And I drove an hour and a half to get it without my cell phone. I had to look up the directions ahead of time, write them down. Dave drew me a little map in case I got, lost. Yeah, so I have my cell phone. What's the longest you've gone without your cell phone? I don't know if that's a good question. I don't, since you had one. I have in my hand some of the resin experiments we did last time. They certainly turned out, they did things like I wanted. They didn't do the skull face. Did you blame the dog? I didn't blame the dog. I think I blamed the fact that I have narcolepsy and kind of fell asleep in the chair a little bit. But I was just commenting on how comfortable I was. That I was sitting in a chair, fell asleep, and dropped my cell phone in the lazy boy, and then had to drive in an hour and a half to go get it. Yeah, that's been my morning, driving the hour and a half and back to go get it. The roads were at least clear. When we drove out to go skiing, the part of the road was shut down because an 18-wheeler had ended up sideways and wedged between the guardrails. I know that's what happened because when I drove by it today, I saw the evidence of it. The drive down yesterday morning, I slept through, thanks to my narcolepsy. It was wonderful. That my partner then drove us through to get skiing early in the morning. It was apparently very, very harrowing. Schools had like a 2-hour delay and all kinds of stuff around. But we totally made it. Skied the morning away, and then stopped for lunch and decided we'd stop like there. It's harder to keep going and skiing all day when you can't stop inside someplace warm. We're opting not to stop inside places to warm up because of COVID, because people aren't wearing masks. So yay, go USA. But that was Vermont, where I expect a little bit better maskness, and they were okay, but a lot of people didn't. But really, I'm back. I'm alive. Usually what I do when I ski is I stop midday. I paint for at least an hour, and then I eat my lunch, and then I go back out and keep skiing. My disabilities with my foot mean I need a little bit more of a break during the day. We did not stop, nor was it warm enough or sunny enough for me to sit there and paint, but I have an image I took in my brain that I'm going to paint for you all today after I get through talking about the resin experiments we did last time. You can tell this one, like, maybe the silicone did a little something that maybe could have created a skull shape. It didn't really happen. I love that there's a little drip coming off the bottom of it. I think this is really wonderful. I love how creepy this looks. Unfortunately, most of the tops on these seem to have broken when I pulled them off. Not all. This one's certainly hangable. And then, yeah, so, I mean, they happened. They happened. The drips certainly like to congregate here. A brain image. You think it looks like a brain? Yeah, I have a brain image of something that I saw skiing that I'm now going to paint, of a ski slope in Vermont. But these turned out, I mean, I love the way they turned out, so I'm not sad at them. They're not skulls, but I'm not sad at them. This one, the first one I did, definitely turned out the most. Ugh. The resin was so much thinner when I applied it, so it started stiffening by the time I applied it to the other ones. It was super thin and runny when I applied it here, so it really covered the whole thing. So you just have this little bit where it's not covered. I could almost pour probably another layer on this, and it would still look pretty good. So that's one of them. I don't know. They all happened. I love it when they drip and they hold that drip. That makes me excited. I'm sure I could time it so that stayed, but that's, for a first go, it's not bad. And it is interesting to me that these, all kind of drip off the same point. I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, I did things, I learned things. It's pretty awesome. Nice colors. And some of them are even ready to be hung. So, ready to go. Yeah, little stalactites at the bottom of them. And, yeah, it's not all bad. But I am going to watercolor for you guys today because that's what I promised in the title. It's going to be delicious, I'm sure. And I'm going to do it totally with my travel kit. Okay, so, oftentimes when I work on something here or work on things, you guys get to see me use my full studio. Sometimes I don't have the resources of my full studio at my disposal. So I will work with a travel kit that I have kind of built after years of experience of liking watercoloring, and I need it to be able to fit over myself when I'm skiing, like over my jacket. I need it to swing around to the front so that when I sit in a chairlift, it doesn't get smushed. And it needs to be really functional and cleaned up real fast and put away real fast. So I'm going to show you what my travel kit looks like. So you can kind of get an idea if you wanted to build your own watercolor travel kit, what that looks like. And you can commiserate with me for not having my cell phone for 20 hours. I did okay. I did okay. Here is what I carry my kit in. It's pretty unassuming. I think maybe one day I'll redesign this bag to make it awesome. But it kind of suffices. This lower pocket I generally fill with food. I don't like spending money. It's expensive to spend money at resorts. So there's still a remnant orange in here. There's some ginger chews. And I've started carrying, thank goodness, yesterday, a little trusty, gritty, pocket knife, because this is always, helpful. Oh, really? Good on you. It would be hard for me to go a couple of days, particularly running the business. But we needed the screwdriver because my partner had worn my skis with his boots last. And so the bindings were adjusted to his boots. Good morning, Alp. Welcome. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Today is Thursday, not Wednesday. I did try to announce it kind of in the best way I could that I'd be streaming today and not yesterday because I was skiing yesterday. Hi, Sir Hairlock. We're glad you're here too. Yeah, this is my makeup session, and I thought there would be a chance I could stop someplace warm and stream live mobile and do a watercolor painting for you all. But it didn't happen that way because they're not requiring masks indoors at the lodges. So I just really wasn't comfortable with that yet. Maybe that'll change. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't feel comfortable with that. So what I'm going to do today to make up for that is I'm going to paint from my memory a scene that happened while we were on the chairlift that was pretty awesome. I'm also going to walk you through what I keep in my travel pack so that if you guys wanted to put together a watercolor travel pack, you could. I got this bag at Goodwill. I don't know anything about it other than that. It says J.J. Cole Collections. I have no idea. But it's kind of like a sling bag that are becoming popular as fanny packs are being used this way today. So this is like an enormous fanny pack. I keep in this bucket usually like my sandwich. Yeah, you like in the snow. Wasn't that fun? And you got to see Savannah. Do you remember Savannah? Yeah, the snow and the lights last Saturday were beautiful. It was really a lot more magical than I'd expected to be able to see or experience. The company name has a lot of baby bag stuff. Cool. I'd never looked it up. Thanks, Lady Verona. I just kept using the bag because it's really helpful. It came with like a little plastic thing that folded up that you could sit on in wet situations, so I assumed it was some kind of a hike bag. I got a fancy diaper bag. Cool. I got a fancy diaper bag to carry my watercolors in. I use this bowl for my water, and I never eat out of the bowl I use for my watercolors. My watercolors are, in fact, poisonous. So, you know, I just get water at the lodges, or I can strap a water bottle to this and carry that around, but I collapse it so it goes nice and tight. And then I put it in here, and look, I even have a Band-Aid and a hair tie in there. Parenting essentials, yes. Now here's the pocket where all the magic happens. It's kind of on the larger side. You can see that, you know, my hands. Yes, my fancy diaper bag. You know, so because I filled it up more than it was intended, I have to add extra Velcro here so that the strap, so I can close it in less tight conditions. So that's there. It does have snaps on the side, and I can usually, when it's full, only get one of the snaps done. But I can carry a bunch of nice paper. So here is one of my Arches bricks, books, blocks, whatever you want to call it, watercolor. This is my hot press. It's nice and smooth. This is my cold press. So it's got a lot of rough texture going on. Arches, of course. So each one of these is like 20 bucks. These are expensive papers. And I also, you know, make my own bricks, books, blocks. This is just straight up like illustration board that I hot glue together and make a little nice book of my own in whatever format I wanted. I made these very specifically so that they'd be basically double the size of my watercolor palette that I carry around. See that? So it would fit in here and go with my watercolor palette. And then the brushes. Now my brushes, I'm gonna, in the next couple of days, weeks, I'm gonna rethink how I carry my brushes. My previous brush carrying solution was less than ideal. I have an idea to sew one together that should be fantastic. And I'll probably do that live with you all. It'll be a really simple project. There's a couple live projects actually over the next couple months I'll probably do with you guys that more involve sewing bags like I originally started with here, or updating some ski equipment to be like really COVID compliant so I can quickly take masks on and off, along with some other warming essentials. So you guys should be seeing some cool adaptations that I'll be putting together. But I did promise watercolor today. So here I have just an array of brushes, and this is probably overkill for what I really need. But this is the selection I grabbed with me, and along with my, of course, famous favorite pencil, the Blackwing. You know, always get a Blackwing. And then, yeah, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes I'll try to get a paper towel in there if I suspect that those won't be accessible. I can put really things that need to be safe, like a key. This is where that often goes. And it's pretty nice. There are other little pockets that I haven't quite figured out what to put in them because they're so tiny. But it goes over me like this, and I ski like this, right, over my stuff. And then when I get onto the chairlift, I swing it around like this, sit on the chairlift, and then swing it back. And I've seen other people, particularly photographers, who always have that big bag on the back, and they always just, you know, take it off and put it around in the front, and that just looks like so much work. So with a bag like this, I can keep all my watercolors safe and up on front. So this is my travel kit. It's pretty adaptable. My biggest complaint about it is that it likes to do this as I'm wearing it, so it gets heavy right here. I figure if I add a strap here so that my water bottle hangs right here, it'll probably hold that down nicely. Yeah, I don't know. These are silly pockets that I don't know what to do with. Maybe people have suggestions. I really don't know. Look, I put a small hair tie in this one. That's about all. It's like the size of a little coin pocket. But so this is my travel watercolor kit. That's why I'm showing you this bag. Because I want you guys to see what I carry while I ski to be able to do my watercolors. Now, I'll show you a couple of my previous skiing watercolors so you can get an idea of what it is I'm usually doing on the mountain. There we are. Here's a few of them. Watercolors. So here's a ski slope, right? You can kind of get the idea of this lovely location. Another one. And I'm doing these inside, by the way, just to be clear, because my fingers would freeze. I don't know. This is from the condo review of the icicles. I also have some of some like houses local here to Manchester. That's not really relevant here. But I'm really enjoying painting outside. Here's a nice steam massage hut at the Hot Spring, Strawberry Hot Spring. So all these are watercolors. Ooh, this one was a really fun day. It was like almost whiteout conditions and I could barely see the chairlifts through it. But you can see I'm like watercoloring live on the mountain for these things. Most of these are Steamboat, not all of them. I think all the ones I'm showing you right now are in fact Steamboat, Colorado, different views. This one is actually a view regular people don't see. This was done from the Ski Patrol Lodge. They let me in to paint this view. This was a beautiful sunny day where I had to capture the light. But you get the idea. So that's how I'm usually working. Now, let's, all right, here we go. Put these away along with all my other paintings. Lots of paintings. And so I'm usually sitting at some place where a lot of people are eating lunch, so I try to be as tight and compact as possible, but people still give me the evil eye. I think it's really rude that they do that. I'm a person with a disability who simply cannot ski the whole time, but wants to ski as much as possible. So I have to take little breaks. Here it's my full color set. Now this type of set is usually set up in such a way that these are your colors and then this is for your brushes. I have found most of my brushes barely fit in here anyways, so I, like, that's not even, anyways. So I took the extra colors that are sometimes in, like, non-travel kits, and I put them where the brushes go. It's not how this is intended to be used at all, but it really, really works. And these are the colors that I most often use. I don't get rid of them unless I'm moving on to something totally different. And this is all the mixing space I have. So I'm trying to think of, I think I want to go with a cold press for texture. So this is a Arches cold press watercolor paper. One of my absolute favorites, and it's 3.9 inches by 9.8 inches. Okay. So it's really long, really narrow. I think it's just kind of delightful surprise to see paintings in this aspect ratio. Now I'd been doing square just because that's what I was able to make quickly before my last ski trip. But I'm not opposed to some of these other formats. I generally set it up like this. So if you can see, so you can see this is here, my brushes are here, and I'm trying to paint in a small space. So I will generally put whatever I'm not using, the other books, bricks, blocks, whatever you want to call them, back in my bag and sling it over the chair. This is, yes, a B pencil that's in pretty good shape. I will generally not erase on watercolor paper with the eraser that's on the back of the Blackwing pencil. These white erasers, though very good at what they do, damage watercolor paper, and they sometimes, enough times, leave behind a residue on the paper that can repel watercolor. So I don't use these white erasers when I'm going to watercolor over what I'm drawing. And this may be the wrong format. No, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. This will be, all right. I'm thinking about what I saw on the chairlift. It was a slope. Oh, I don't have, partner, if you're listening, if you happen to know where a ski map of the mountain that we were on is, if you could bring it up, that would help me. Hint, hint. And I think there's one on the kitchen counter. So, yeah, so I want to look at that and figure out what run I was on, because that's what I generally title the paintings, is based either the address that I'm drawing or the run that I was painting. So here, this is Storm Peak. See that? And I want to continue that trend. It was a slope. It was a slope, and it was under a chairlift as far left as was open on the mountain we were on. So what I like to erase with, back to the watercoloring, what I like to erase with is the kneaded erasers. You don't rub with a kneaded eraser. You dab. You go up and down like this. You dab nicely. So the kneaded erasers don't damage the paper as much. I don't know that they don't damage it entirely. Maybe we should do a microscope study of that. But this is the eraser I use. I don't usually start out with a 2B. They're usually a little waxier than I would go for, but it's what I have in hand, and I'm kind of falling in love with these pencils, so I'm gonna go for it. Now, the scene that I saw was beautiful. Okay, I was sitting there, it was a 4-person lift, and we're going up, and we're almost to the top. We can see the end in sight. The clouds, mist, snow is just covering the top of this run that we were at. And so picture yourself sitting on the ski lift. It's kind of chilly. There's a little bit of wind. You're going into the mist. And right when we got into the mist you could see the edge of the slope. It was right on the edge. And, you know, not even a hand's width away, the sun was right behind it. And you shouldn't do this. Don't look at the sun directly. We are wearing our ski goggles, which isn't enough eye protection to look directly into the sun. It wasn't intentional. Don't do this at home, folks. But this mist created this kind of yellow-gray color because of the snow coming across and the sun being super duper bright. And you could almost, you could see the outline, the whole outline of the sun. And there were a few skiers just standing on the ledge, and like 1 or 2 about just gone into it. And it was a blue, so it wasn't super steep, but this was probably the steepest part. And it was kind of amazing. And so that's what I want to try to paint at this moment. And I just got a text message that I'm going to assume it's a brain image. It's a brain image. The internet has a map. Oh, okay. The internet has a map. So I guess I'm not getting the paper map. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try to depict for you guys. Now, here's the question. For what I saw, I suspect a horizontal format is appropriate. A vertical format could be stifling, I think. Thinking about where I'd put everything. Yeah, we're going to go with this. Well, I was going to like put it in front of you, like in the cameras. And I can share my screen. Ugh. Okay. I'm going to experiment live. This could go wrong. No, we'll wait till the end, okay? I'm going to get to the watercolor, paint the brain image, and then we'll talk about where this... Sir Hairluck, there's someone on the thread who agrees adamantly with you on that comment that people's videos should record horizontal, not vertical. Most screens are in fact horizontal, but if someone is doing the vertical format, it's because they're optimizing for Facebook and Instagram, because they prioritize those formats of video. I don't know what TikTok prioritizes. I'm not that young. Yes, if you are streaming on something where you expect people to be watching or recording, and you expect them to be watching on a screen like I am right now, you go for that beautiful horizontal where you get lots of space for lots of this stuff, right? Vertical is ideal for like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and those kinds of things, because they prioritize it. And it looks better when you're scrolling on those mobile formats on mobile. So because the screen on a mobile, right, upright like this, then it takes up more space. So if you record in horizontal, you just get a little blip, a quarter of the screen as you're moving down. If you record in vertical, you get the whole thing. I agree. I think horizontal video is far superior than vertical. I might lose viewers over that. I don't know. Right, you can, but people don't use their devices that way. It's just, yeah. It's, equate it to people who listen to music out loud on public transportation. Those are my feelings on that. So here we are. I think I'm going to switch so that you guys can see my hands bigger. How's that sound? So that you guys can see me really, really work this drawing. Here we are, and then the chat is still visible. Okay, let's move this over here a little bit. How's that? So, while I would normally work real life kind of more set like this, I'm going to move this over here so that it's not covered by the chat. Is this the right view that should be emphasized? Probably not, huh? Would you guys like the other ones? I'm going to switch these. This I am comfortable doing live because I have before. Do you love it? Do you love my versatility? Live changing of screens. I'm so cool, y'all. So cool. How's that? I think that's the view you want for this particular watercolor. Yeah? Cool. Moving my standing pad so that I have all the support I need. And you can see it. You work in the movie industry, or maybe you're too old school. No, I agree. Horizontal is the way to go, man. I think it's a much better experience. But for whatever reason, that's what we do. I don't disagree with you, Sir Hairlock. Your work in the movie industry notwithstanding, you can also have personal preferences. I'm just explaining the why and how as someone who's worked in marketing and design for many years. So I don't always agree with the choices that the social media platforms have made a lot of the time, but we are where we are, right? So let's actually get to this watercolor. All right, let's mark the time. I'm about 30 minutes into my stream per my timer. I usually spend an hour, maybe 2 on each of these paintings at most. So that's going to be my aim here as well. Cool, I'm thinking. All right, remembering this scene. The mountain had a slight convex shape to the top of the slope. It was slight, but it was present. And the people looked surprisingly small. There was a little bit of tree coming out from behind, but you could barely see it. You guys see my lines? You might not. And it was primarily composed of an evergreen type pine forest. So that's what I'm going to put right here. But they were really misty. And kind of scraggly, actually, if I'm honest. But it will give a beautiful composition. So I'm doing this from memory, not real life. Okay, so like I can't sit on that chairlift for hours and hours, or back and forth and like ride it and circle and paint. That's not gonna happen. Nope. You'd have to give me like a heated vest, heated pants, a heated hat, heated gloves that are like skin tight so I can draw. Sorry, distracted. Back to the painting. Here we go. A couple trees, and we'll see. Maybe we'll add some like deciduous type branches poking out through here. And the sun was just this glowing orb through the mist. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you saw something like that. But it stopped everyone on our lift. All 4 people were like, whoa. Now, because I'm picky, I really like this to be a really good circle. I'm looking at this, and this is looking a bit too big for me to trace perfectly. So I'm going to look for something else circular to kind of throw in there. That's on the smaller side. Let's see, that marker looks a little on the smaller side. Even though it says this is the marker I needed at school. This is the right size. All right, we're gonna use this marker. Okay. On another planet? You gamers, right? And so a little bit over here, right here, the sun is going to live. There we are. It's not perfect, but it'll work. I'm sure that, the data on the sun says it's not perfectly spherical either. I'm not opposed to using tools. Now, I'm going to erase that a little bit. Here's the other thing about working with pencil and watercolor at the same time. Pencil does have a little bit of wax in it, so the pencil can repel the watercolor. You just need to be aware of it. So don't draw a lot and don't put a lot of pressure down on the page. The pencil also will leave indents wherever you draw before you watercolor. The other thing is, if you watercolor over top that pencil mark, and then that pencil mark will become permanent because that watercolor is going to hold that pencil down to the paper. So here we go. It was just such a beautiful sight, and there were these like skiers right here, just about ready to go down. And yeah, they don't have to be super detailed. So I'm going to pull out the only other drawing I did with a skier in it. And kind of look at this to think about how much detail I really need to throw on here to make it obvious it's a skier. I'm going to always give my skiers helmets, and they always stand with this little bit because you've got this uphill downhill ski thing going on, and they're going to be leaned forward a smidge even when they're just standing upright, right? That's not right. Doing this from memory, thinking about skiers standing at the top of a ledge. Ah, you didn't know that about your watercolors, did you? Glad I could help. There we are. So, right, they even standing upright, they've got quite a bend to them, right? This is looking more like an active pose. I don't mind if this person turns into an active person. I really don't. Here we go. Arms, ski poles. There we are. That's actually not bad. So can you tell what's going on in my drawing here? There you go. It's a skier. Can you believe it? He's a little bigger than I wanted. Right here, I'm going to put a skier really beginning to bomb down. So they're going to be foreshortened and real low on their legs as they keep going. There we are. A little bit of foreshortening. Not too much. And a little smaller. And then there's this like one skier. It was just, well, maybe it was two. They were just standing here. And that's going to be the hardest thing. So I'm going to start unusually with the feet. Because the boots force your legs forward in a way that's kind of hard to draw top down. And it was just so cool to see him really backlit like that. And I think I'm going to give the second skier right away. Make them just a smidge taller. They were both very lean skiers, and they were standing up so straight. It was like they were getting ready, they were stretching before they were about to go. That arm was too long. Down we go. Yes, you want to keep your pencil very light on the page because otherwise it will show through with your watercolor. So I'm going to lighten it further because while, you know, you guys are awesome, my primary goal here is to create a watercolor painting. And if it happens to also make a good Twitch stream, all the more. Now, the other thing that kind of, so There weren't really trees. The lift kind of ended over here. I'm just gonna pretend like you don't see it. Although, we could kind of hint at it through the mist. Right, kind of like that. And it had windows, so they'll be a little lighter. It will help ground everything, but the light's gonna be really flat on this. And then some more trees were kind of visible over here. I'm gonna give a nice little deciduous one. And that's all the pencil I'm gonna do for this. This is literally it. I'm gonna hold it up so that you guys can maybe see more, if we can get that contrast going for you. Over here. Or you can see maybe some of it. Enough. And now I'm gonna do the watercolor. Now, now I'm going to make some funky colors. This is another good one to look at as a reference to kind of jog my memory, because it was whiteout conditions. It was just mildly kind of whiteout conditions just at the top there, but with the sun glowing through, it wasn't really whiteout conditions like this. It had this weird yellow-gray glow. So I am going to try to figure out how to make this yellow-gray color. I was thinking it might be a blue-orange. It might be a blue-orange color. But the more I think about it, the more I think about this color, I think it's a purple. I think it's a purple yellow gray. That is one of the hardest grays, I think, to play with. But I'm going to try for it, okay? Now, I know I'm not going to use the red here or there, so I'm going to clean up those trays all together. Just get them gone, because I don't need them for this particular painting. And I'm not doing anything that has a lot of red in it right now anywhere else either. So I just kind of use water. That's the joy of watercolor, right? Clean it up, clean it up. Bye-bye. This red can go too. And that's one of the great things about watercolor. Once you know a brand of watercolor and really, really know it well, you know how to make every color you want. You develop an intuitive sense with a lot of your colors. And that's why it's important to like develop favorites like that. You need to know the tools you're using. And I would, and I'm not going to use this bright blue green. So I'm going to clean this up too. Because there is no bright blue green going on in this thing. This tray has been this dark grayish blue color that I have created and just keep building on each time. All right, I'm gonna start testing. I like to use a white paper towel or similar device, because then I can test the color on the paper towel before I put it on the paper. Brown works in a pinch, but you know, you get it. I'm gonna take my biggest brush. When I'm traveling, I don't carry a spray bottle. I would often spray my watercolors to get them all just kind of evenly wet. When I'm traveling, I don't have that. So I just kind of hit it real quick with wet. I'm not trying to get any color off of these. I'm just trying to drop a little moisture into the ink color, or into the watercolors that I think I'll be using. And I don't bother with any of the others. I also don't typically use the purple that comes in this kit or brand. Maybe there's a better purple out there. But I don't. I think the purple that comes with this is pretty dead. I don't anticipate using any of those bright reds or oranges other than as little bits of accent color or to deaden a color. So I will give them a little bit of moisture, but not a lot. There we are. Just kind of touching them up. These reds will probably be used to make whatever purple I use, but not anything else more than that. Okay, so they're touched with water. And I'm gonna make sure I remember what this color is here. I'm just gonna get a little bit of a smaller brush. This is a Da Vinci 6. I'm just gonna white it down just a little bit, make sure I remember what that, and this will probably be my black in the painting. See that? Yeah, that's a good black. And I know it's not a real black because my real black is full. It's over here. Just saying. Don't paint with black. Here is one of my favorite brushes on the planet. It just Arches number 4. And it's a cat tongue. Petite petite grise per, I don't know, whatever. This is a new brush that I really love. This is the Raphael Soft Aqua 18 3/4. It's so soft, and I do believe it is, yeah, it's imitation squirrel. So I like that since it doesn't hurt animals, and I didn't know I needed that in my life. Some cheap brushes that I just happen to use. A Da Vinci #2 for some detail work. And then a Da Vinci #4, also detail. Different. Okay, I do lean towards the Da Vinci brushes a lot of times. Yeah, it's tongue of the cat or cat tail. It looks like a furry tail tip, basically. Tongue of a cat. Oh, the French-speaking person. Yeah, just cat tongue brush. Yes. That's one of my favorites. A cat tongue brush is my favorite. You heard it here, folks. Cats are amazing, if you didn't know. So we name our paintbrushes after cats. All right, let's play with this yellow and see if we can develop the purple gray we need. We're gonna need a little red, and I'm going to pull this red, just a smidge, and we're gonna need to turn that into a purple, and I'm gonna pull this, and then we're gonna mix it, and okay, that's going somewhere. Maybe a little more red. That's a lot of red. A little more blue. All right, there's my purple. I think this is it. Look at that gray. It's definitely warm, okay? I'm not gonna... Can you just shave a squirrel? I don't know. We can ask Fluffy. Fluffy might know the answer to that. I'm gonna add a smidge more blue. It might turn in a little green. It is a little green, so a little more red. And this could be the wrong red. Maybe I'm going about this at the wrong red. This is the wrong color. This is not right. This is looking like baby puke, which is not the gloriousness that I saw. Okay, I think the red is wrong. I think we need a cooler red. So let's start with this one. This is a traditional, more magenta color. Let's pull this yellow and then this blue into it. That's a better looking purple. I like that more. Yep, I like that. So let's pull this yellow here. Okay, it has the glow quality to it. It's a lot less baby puke. I'm thinking maybe I'm going with the wrong yellow now. It's better, but it's not great. We're gonna hold on to that just in case it's good. Squirrel mohawk. We have a squirrel in our yard that we're gonna use the lemon yellow now. This really bright neon over here. Maybe I should move this so you see it more. Lemon yellow. And I'm gonna touch with the, maybe we should switch the blue too. What blue am I using? I don't know. That's a good blue. We're gonna go to a more traditional school blue and keep going with that magenta. Overpowered. Pick up more of that blue. Okay, mix in that yellow. It's on the red side right now. And I just added more red. What was I thinking? Add more blue and a little more yellow. Ooh! This is a good shadow color for what I'm doing. Okay, don't get rid of that. Now, let's add a little bit of that purple in. Is this the gray? I think it is. It just needs to be a lot lighter. This is it. Okay, we're going to put a wash of this gray with plenty of water. Plenty of water. Over the entirety of the background. Except for the sun. The sun may remain yellow in this piece, or may remain white in this piece. it wasn't a clear blue. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, yeah, it was, it wasn't blue, is what I'm trying to say. It was yellow. There we go. And that was this mist, right? The whole sky was this mist. And notice I'm not worried about what I'm going over. There we go. Now I'm going to take that color that we made and throw in a little more of the purple and a little more of the blue. More blue. And that's going to be the snow color, because it got a little more blue in it and hence a little more gray. So this went here. It was so subtle, but it was a change of color. And so I just kind of drop it on. You see what I'm doing? So I'm adding it darker here because it's moving away from the sun. So this is the shadow that the hill has. And if I add any tracks to like really complement this, here we are. That's the snow. I know it feels weird. You're gonna have to trust me on this. Now this brown over here, I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna grab another cat tongue brush that I don't appear to have a brand left on anymore. And I'm gonna pick up this brown to make the base of this building as it existed. Now, the other thing, you know, as it fades into the gray of the hill, that's not a bad thing. We've got a lot of mist going on, right? And so as things fade, that's totally okay. All right, throw a little more of this red in, throw a little more of this green in, get a little bit of shadow color going. Away from the sun. We got a little hair in there, but I have my trusty tweezers somewhere. I don't typically travel with these. I would just use my fingers and pull it out. Maybe my fork and knife if I was done eating. Cool. Now that got a little more bleedy than I wanted, so I'm gonna go in and dab it off a little bit. Here we go. See, I picked it up. All good. As I throw the things I still need away. Here we are. It's okay if it gets blurry. We're in the mist, right? This is misty. These people aren't going to be super well defined. Cheating? How am I cheating? I did no cheating. Oh, the use of the tweezers is maybe a cheat. And now, let's see, I touch it to see how cool it is. The cooler the paper, the more wet it is. Circle stencil. Hey, I would do that with the salt and pepper shaker on the table. Okay, now we're gonna kind of start throwing some of these trees down here, and they're gonna have a couple different kind of colors and textures in order to like point out that they are fading into the mist and the sun is there. Here's this green color. I just keep making it over and over for these paintings. It's a good green. This one's a little too saturated. The trees are not that saturated. I'm gonna grab some of this gray over here that's definitely on the green side. This is beautiful. As the trees get closer to us, they're going to be fuzzier. As they move back from us against the light, they're going to be more defined, except as they move away from us, they're going to be fuzzier because of the mist. And as they get closer, they'll be more defined. So how do we handle this? What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the trees closer to the sun, darker, but maybe less well defined. And the trees closest to us, more green. I think that's what it's going to be. Here we are. Do you like my confidence? I just kind of threw that color down there. That was probably too much. That was way too much confidence. It's not fuzzy enough. So I have that edge. I'm just going to touch it with water and it'll kind of make it blur, so that we know we're in a mist. See that? And I'm going to touch it with this too. Yep, no going back. It's one of the joys of watercolor. All right, do you see that? It's a fuzzy tree. Fuzzy tree. I'm gonna do the same thing. Tree in the back. Give it a little bit of this. And I have to leave the negative space for the tree that's in front of it. And now we're gonna fuzz it, right? With water. Just straight up water. There we go, a fuzzy tree. Yeah? Misty, fuzzy tree. There should be one over here as well. We need to add some balance. We're gonna call it this one in the back. Right up here. It's a little more traditionally tree shaped. So my watercolors are the St. Petersburg White Russian Nights that you have to get from Russia. I mean, sometimes you can find them on Amazon and stuff, but these are like Russian watercolors. You might break laws if you get them. I don't know. Here we go. We're going to throw in some more of the green, but we're not going to get darker. I'm actually going to grab just a bit of that red from that red mist color and drop that in here to deaden that green just a smidge. And now I'm going to throw it in here. And it needs a hard edge right here, but everywhere else should be mostly kind of misty, right? Not as misty as what we were doing before, but you get the idea. This tree is going to be this green. And if they blend in each other, that's okay. I'm going to wet this and then I'm going to dab it up. Yeah, like that. And that's how I'm going to be like, look, I'm in the mist. Do you see me in the mist? Yeah, look at me. I've got shadows in the mist. Now I'm going to grab maybe some of this greenish color. Yeah, it's got a little more blue in it. And this is how I'm going to create all the depth stuff. Okay, that doesn't have enough water in it. At least for the style I'm going for right this second. Okay, it's bleeding a little bit because that one's still wet, and that's all right. Remember, we're in a mist. Now, it has to be harsh here against the house because that house is close to us. The house, you know, where the chairlifts go. Where the chairlifts go. Are you seeing enough? I'm always worried you guys aren't seeing enough. There we go. Let's move this camera a smidge. And then, do you see more now? No, no you do not. You can see more of my colors. Is that what you want though? See more colors? There we are. Better? Oh, at least you get the fire sometimes. Okay. Let's bring this in a little bit as we keep adding more and more. Yeah? A little better? Okay. We've got those trees. They're fading. They're doing beautiful things. I'm going to pull some of this green over here that has some red leaking into it. Oh, that's a good green. That's a good green. And that's going to be this one. And no, not that one. Now again, I'm going to dab at the bottom, pick up that color so that it looks misty, like it's moving away from us, the mist gathering on the ground. And I'm going to grab a longer, thinner brush now. This is a Royal Langnickel number 2, long. It's been bent, such is life sometimes. Let's pull this color and let's pull in some of this red. Let's warm it up a bit so that we bring it forward with red. And it's going to be a tree right here. Warmed up and pulled forward. Straight edged here. And then here. Using the warm color to pull it forward. Maybe it's a 2-tip tree right here. I don't know. Dab at the bottom again. Pick it back up. And then, yeah, we're just going to use that color again. I like it. Might be a little too wet next to that other tree, but you know what? We'll just call it snow and leave it blank. The mist makes it so much harder to see like what exactly is going on there. So the trees don't need to be well defined. I'm gonna go back in, give that the top of the lift a little more definition, right? But keep in mind, it is also in the mist, so if it's not perfectly defined, that's okay. It should have just a little more definition. Let's grab this color. I don't know what it is, but I think it's going to help. There we are. It does help. It's a lot of contrast for right here, but it's going to balance out the skiers in a bit. You'll see. You'll see. Those windows need a color, and I'm not sure it's blue, but we're going to play with it. We're going to play with this gray blue over here. And I think this is it. There we are. That's better. Remember, it's misty. Yep, I'm a watercolor witch. I'm crafty like that. Give this overhang a little bit of definition. All right, and this is going even faster than I thought it would, so that's cool. The sun was strikingly yellow, so I want to convey that without adding too much color to the actual sun here. So this is going to be one of the things that I'm going to have the hardest time with, I suspect. I'm going to get some clean water. That's going to be my first step. Clean water, dump it out in the heavy metal death cup. This is the heavy metal death cup. That's right. It's because my paints have heavy metals in them. So kids don't use these cups, but these stay in the studio for me to use. Dumping it out, and I'm going to add a little bit of clear water. And I'm going to try to nail this. I have no idea. Let's see here. Yeah, you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Okay, okay. We're going to use the Da Vinci 4, and I'm going to pull that lemon yellow out, and I'm going to see if I can do something with it. See, it is just far too intense on its own. I need it bright. I don't need it that intense. And is it something I just need to add water to and water it down? Or is it, maybe it's the water that I need, actually, now that I'm playing with this. Maybe it's just the water. Tough to tell in this green. You know what? I think the water is the right direction here. Yep, that's it. Okay, now I'm going to touch the sun with this lemon yellow and pure lemon yellow. I don't usually work with pure lemon yellow. But it was so intense. Like, I don't know, other than like fluorescing something, I don't know how else to just like be like, this sun was so bright but misty. Bright but misty. I don't know. I really don't. How's that? Do we see it? Just like a smidge. I have no idea. You know, I'm going to add a little bit of that yellow to the hill here to emphasize that it's the sun. Yeah. More of the pure yellow. Watered down quite a bit. I'm going to hit it here. That's pulling it together. Really water it down and then pop it up. Very good. Yes, like that. Like that. And then bring it back up. See that? Yes. Okay, you get the idea. I hope you can kind of see it. This is the only color I have that really kind of does this. It kind of feels like it's almost fluorescent. Ooh, we could test that. Did I don't have any of my black lights readily available. Where my brain goes. Here's one. Does it actually fluoresce? No, it does not. It does not. None of my colors fluoresce. Actually, that one almost does. I don't know if you can see that. None of my colors fluoresce. The paper fluoresces better on its own. Anyways, you know, gotta test. Gotta check in case it glows in the dark. All right, now we're gonna move on to the skiers. Now, do you guys see a ski slope here? I don't quite. I think what I need to convince myself that there's a ski slope here is some tracks and maybe some little hills. Now my water is very warm, so I'm going to grab back my old water and use it. Not something I normally do on the mountain, admittedly, but I can, so I will. I'm cheating, I'm cheating. Good. So, there's often just little bits of shadow that goes through here, right? And it fades. Just from other people's tracks having skied through. And you can kind of see them sometimes. Not all the time. Mounds of snow that have been pushed by people turning. They exist. People have been here. This one should have one clearly coming from them. Just like that. Given a little... Yeah. Just like that. Just kind of hinting that people have been here and that there are tracks. And you often get like a lot of like crisscrossing coming off the top of a hill like this. And it's very, very faint, intense. I will dab it away. Just enough to be like, there's texture here. There we are. Just a little bit. Ski this, ski this, ski this. Yeah, textures of the hill. They'll be faint, which is what we want. And I'm looking at it and it's looking and feeling mostly dry. So now I'm gonna make the people colors. I remember this guy that was standing really upright had a bright blue shirt on. So right at the edge of their shirt, I will hint at the bright blueness that they had. It wasn't a cerulean, it was a little more traditional. But right at the edge of the jacket, I will hint at the color. I'm gonna need a tinier brush. Okay, so this is the 4. I'm gonna go down to the 2. I don't usually go smaller than this when I'm working on the mountain. Because I'm trying to work in under an hour, right? Just enough to warm my feet up. So I'm gonna add some blue, some bright blue right along the edge of this dude's jacket. Just the edges. We'll make his helmet blue too to match, okay? And that's it. Like, that is it. I'm gonna fade it. There we go. Most people were in dark colors. I just remembered one of them being bright blue. The rest, nothing to speak of really. So we're going to move back into our very gray color, and we're just going to use this in various values. For those of my students who are listening, we're going to use various values of this grayish black color to create depth. Remember, value is not the cost of a material or a cost of a painting, but rather, you know, white, gray, black. Value, the lightness or darkness of an object. Just saying. Because I know that some of my students do watch from time to time. Okay. I didn't like that. I don't like how that went. I don't like how that went. Clean it up, clean it up. Okay, gone, bye. Let's do this person. See if we can capture some movement. I don't usually put people in my skiing drawings. Here we go. And wrinkly, because they're in their big baggy, like, skiing clothes, right? Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe that's what I'm not adding, is the big bagginess. He needs to fade into the mist more. That's his problem. Look at that. He's just too stark. So I'm going to take the rag, I'm going to tear a small bit away, and I'm going to get real close. And I'm going to dab at it. There we go. That's more convincing. So by dabbing and only keeping the side that's facing the sun the strongest, I think will point out how much they're fading into the light, or into the mist. Because these people are like they're like ski fairies. They're just kind of fading away into the mist of the snow. There we are. And then I'm going to I just line it just a smidge with just a really intense color here for the knee, right? And here for the arm. And then their pole going forward. I mean, they were just so barely visible. I made his way too big. Okay. But we have solutions for that. Look, there. That's all you really need. You don't need to, like, tell the whole world that is a skier. You know what I mean? Just hint. Hint that there's a skier there. That's all you need to do. Yeah? Okay, now the next one, which I think is going to be this one. No, I'm going to go do this action one. The action one is calling to me. The one that's like, woo, already down there. And they're going to be super light because they're further in the mist, right? And we're going to be like, you are turning like a boss. Yeah, like that. And they know what they're doing, so their pole's out ahead of them because they're getting ready to poke the polar bear in the nose. There we go. Dab it up. Ugh, too much dabbing. Too much dabbing. I went too far. Or I did it too fast. Needed more time to soak in the paper. There we are. They look like they're having fun though, I think. Super foreshortened. Just kind of like ghostly people go. Ooh, I like ghosts better than fairies. Ghostly people headed down a mountain. The boldest were right near the sun. We're gonna do this, the shorter person. Look at how bold they look. That looks a little off though on the arm. Remember, you don't have to spell it out for everyone all the time. Just hint at things and people will put it together. Really. Just hint. Like, I dig that hint of a person. That's it. It was just so misty. Like, we really barely could see them. I mean, we could see it was a stark outline, but we could see nothing about them. All right, and now that blue contrast is going to get the rest of their details. And colors are relative. So if this is the darkest dark, it'll be very convincing. And honestly, one of the starkest, most contrasty things in this painting should be, because it's the closest to the sun and most direct, is this pole. And this one can get a little more definition because of that. But yeah, it should be fairly blah. Surprisingly and misty. Yeah. Just like that. Giving the light just something real fadey against. Yeah. Whatever the sun is directly behind the most is going to be the most starkly contrasted. Okay? It's just the way it goes. Whereas this person's going to be very faded. Wrinkled and faded. There. But, like, so little contrast. I got a little too contrasty, dab them up a bit. Okay, this is turning out a little simpler than I really thought it would be, but you get why, I think. It was just this mist, and I don't know that I've really captured it, but it was amazing. So this is getting a little dry. I'm gonna pick up a little more of this color and give the sky a little bit of a gradient. It will help blend the trees just a bit. There we go. It's just so misty. I don't know. I think I did a better job capturing the mist here, but it's still mist. I think there was a lot more snow in this one, so it's easier to capture with that. When you have the darks and the lights and the contrast, that gets harder. It was mist. It was more mist than snow. It was so cool. We're going to darken the lift house just a bit to offset some of the darkness that we managed to create with the people. A little more detail going on. Really, I'm just patching some wood texture into it. And again, it's fading into the mist. I may be not doing a great job of capturing the mist. It's so much better. I'm so much better at drawing in real life and looking up at it than seeing it. I really am. I know that's where my talent lies. There's nothing wrong with that. But I thought I'd try to capture this for y'all. Now I'm gonna add in some more shadows on the trees. I think that will give us some of the definition that we're kind of lacking right now. And I'm just gonna use the same shadow material. It's not gonna be a lot because, right, we're in the mist. But I'm gonna shadow in these trees, make it a little more convincing. Oh, this is pulling it together. This is what I needed. I gotta be honest, y'all. When I'm painting, I hate my painting from 30% to 70, sometimes 90%. It's not until I get close to the end again that I was like, this is why I do this. I feel like it's awful in the process every time. So when you're drawing something and you feel like your painting is awful, don't stop. Take it through to finish. And because maybe you're just in that 30 to 70% where everyone hates their paintings. You know, it's a thing, is what I'm trying to say. Just keep finishing it, even when you don't love it. There's such a moment, just... That's why I paint from observation when I'm on the mountains. Because those moments happen all the time as you're skiing and as you're looking. But it's so hard to, like, remember exactly how they happened. But it's so glorious when you do capture it. Why? What do you mean why? Why do you hate it? That's a good question. It's a good question. I feel like that's something I should pose to my therapist. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way though, like about their work. As they're working on it, they hate it. Well, here's one theory I can say from working with kids a bunch, like where they love and hate their work. It doesn't come out the way you ever picture in your head. Like even, I don't know if great artists, like the real great artists, I'm not talking about myself. I mean like the real people. The people who get paid, hundreds of thousands of dollars for their paintings at galleries and stuff. Successful artists, maybe I should say, not real artists. Successful artists. I wonder if they feel the same way. But then again, I was at a convention and got to, oh, I'm getting spammed. Fun. When I became famous, I don't buy followers. That's not gonna get me anything I want. So much money. Oh my gosh. So much money. Thanks, Lady Frona or Alp. So famous. But where was I? So I got to moderate a talk at a local con, Comic-Con, and I asked the people who drew these comic books that, sell and stuff, like they do a great job. Like, are you ever happy with a piece? Do you ever love a piece? Do you ever feel like a piece is done? And they're like, no. Sir Hairlock, you guys see that? Maybe because you are too hard with yourself, because average people will say, I'm so good, it's so great, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. But so I got to ask these comic book people how they feel about their work in that relationship. And they said, no, they never feel like it's good, like that it's ever done. And they generally hate their work, especially in those unfinished phases. So I don't know if other, fine artists feel that way as well. But I know my students do, because for them, they're not, what they're seeing, they can see in their head so much better than what they can put down on paper. But I will tell you, what I see in my head is not what comes out on paper. I mean, maybe I'm like giving away some giant secret from artists that I shouldn't be, but I picture something totally different. It does not come out this way. It does not come out of my head like it is here. Like, this isn't what I see in my head. But I keep doing it anyways, and maybe one day I'll actually produce what I 100% see in my head, but I never do. Maybe that means I'm a bad artist. Maybe it means I'm just not good enough yet. Maybe it means, like Sir Hair, like maybe I'm too hard on myself and I have the standard that I'm like, oh my gosh, I want it to look like this. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The secret code. Oh my God, don't tell the world. This is something only artists know. It doesn't look like it does in my head. Maybe some artists it does. But especially my students shouldn't feel like because what they drew doesn't look like what they saw in their head, it's bad. And that's what I keep telling myself with this. Just because this doesn't look like what I see in my head doesn't mean it's bad. Is it my most favorite painting ever? No, I can tell you right now, this isn't the most favorite painting I've ever done. I'm very happy with this one. Is it my most favorite painting I've ever done? No, but I did something here and I learned something here and I communicated something here that I like feel about, and I think I splattered paint on it while I was painting this painting. Okay, so to fix when you splatter paint on something when you didn't mean to, you can first try to hit it with water and see how recent it was and see if you can fade it away like I'm doing right now. When that doesn't work, you take a blade to it and you scratch it away. So like this painting I'm quite happy with, but it's not, there we go, just lightly scratch with a blade. If you scratch with a blade, it means you can't go back and paint on top of it, but that's okay, this one was done. There's a little splatter, it's fine. I'm fine with it. I got the worst of it off. A little bit of water, pull it off, then scratch. But so like when I'm painting, and maybe I am giving away something that artists everywhere just keep internalized and don't share with the rest of the world so that they can be the only artists. But what usually comes out on the paper is rarely exactly what I see in my head. But it's still communicating something, and even if it doesn't communicate to anyone else, it's still reminding me of that moment on the chairlift when the sun came out from behind the mountain as we were riding through the mist and we saw some skiers on the top of the hill, and it was just this ooh moment. And every artist is just trying to strive to capture those ooh moments that communicate to someone else. And they may not communicate the exact moment that you experience, but there's certainly a mood that's being communicated. And when people resonate with that mood, that's when they go, ooh, I love that drawing, or I love that painting. And that's what art is. Art is communication without necessarily language, right? There are all kinds of moments that I've captured, like this moment here, right? Look at this. This moment, turn it around so it's upright for you all. This moment, look at this. This is a moment. This is a moment in time, and I captured it. Okay, you've got these purplish storm clouds rolling in on what was a kind of warm day, hence the icicles. A little bit of blue hanging out at the top of the painting, and just this hill, this mountain, right? With these little bits of snow and trees. And I'm in an industrial, more residential area, hence the building, right? It's just this moment. And it's a totally different moment than this one. Totally different moment. Same mountain, different perspective. Actually, I think if I'm looking here, this section here might be this section here. Anyways, different perspective, different place on the mountain. Thank you very much. But it was a bright, sunny, beautiful something day and it's just a different moment with beach chairs sitting out on the slope. Another bright, sunny day type, right? With the light hitting from the side. And you get very different feelings from the paintings. And if you can sometimes communicate with somebody else about that feeling, about that day, about that moment, then you've done what you wanted to do, right? It doesn't matter if it's not necessarily the mood you set out to put out. Like this was a half hour at 4:30 on the mountain, or 3:30 or something, right? Like it's just the light and it just hits, and it's just that moment. Staring at the chairlifts. That's all it is. You're just capturing a moment. And so that's why if you don't quite capture your moments, I would still go ahead and do it. Like here are very similar day and weathers and moments, but they're still very different, right? Like this one's sharper, this one's clear because it stopped snowing on this one, and this one it was still lightly snowing. Like there's a lot less detail visible here. And this one has tons of detail. Yeah, so really, when you're making art, you're just capturing what you're feeling, what you're doing in that moment, maybe what you're seeing if you're lucky, but really you're capturing some feeling, some moment, some mood, and trying to communicate it with someone else. And even if it doesn't communicate with the person sitting next to you who experienced the same moment, what's the matter? It's going to communicate with someone else. That's why art is so individual. Like that, you know, this may not communicate with you, but maybe, you know, this moment does. And it's okay. Yeah, so if any of my students are watching right now, it's okay if it doesn't look like what's exactly in your head. This doesn't, but I think it might be done. I might go in and add just a little more stark contrast here, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll keep that mist just misty. I don't know that I will attempt to capture many more skiers in my paintings. Because I'm not sure I really captured them here well, but that's okay. You don't know until you try. This is only the second time I've captured skiers in a painting, right? So how can I be expected to do it expertly? Yes, everyone can have the different interpretations of the same exact painting. It's true. So, you know, don't hate on yourself because your art doesn't look like you expect it to. Ooh, I've been gifted something as I come to the end of my stream plan for the day. I have a mat to show you exactly what run I just painted here. Would you guys like to see that? Would that be fun? Here is the ski map for Killington. All right, that's where we were. It's in Vermont. And I drove almost... I joked last night, I'm gonna have to drive halfway back there. I might as well go skiing. And my partner was like, nah, you're gonna be driving 3/4 of the way there. So when I'm painting, I should say also on the mountain, I check and see how wet things are. So when I'm done painting, then I eat. So I give some time for the stuff to dry. When it's not dry, and it's like this, I soak up the extra water because I gotta close this up and put this back in my bag. And I don't feel like cleaning up this kind of a mess all over the bag, if that makes sense. Most of my colors are kind of dry, but if I'm ever worried about it, something you can always do that will prevent colors from bleeding is just kind of throw this on top and dab it up. Yep, you're wasting watercolor, but that's what you do when you travel with watercolors, okay? Don't hate on yourself for, you know, wanting things to not be completely messy all the time. Secret of watercolor artists, this is also how you clean your palette. You spray it lightly with water, let it set, and then you press it, and you just keep doing that until you pick up all the colors that are there that aren't supposed to be there. And then I do this, and back it goes in my bag. So again, the bag that I use is this. I'm cleaning this up so that I still have this to ski with. This is my bag. Apparently it's a very expensive baby bag. I know nothing about it. I found it at Goodwill. I've adapted it to my needs by adding extra Velcro, but my watercolors go in here like this. See that? And then my papers can go back in. I don't pull, so these papers are all booked, locked together. So when I want to peel a page off, you slip a knife under there and peel it off. But, you know, I eat my lunch and this is looking dry enough that I would close it back up, put it like this, and I would slip that back in there. One of my other streams, I will make a new brush carrier that will protect my brush tips, but for now they're a little loosey-goosey in behind all this. And I close it up, give everyone the evil eye who's trying to steal my space from me, people who think I'm wasting space by not eating the entire time and painting. I don't know why, but people think I'm wasting space when I'm painting in the lodges. But I'm just a little old disabled person who needs to break longer than other people in order to get back on the mountain. And I ski like this. believe me. And then onto the lift, and it comes around like this. You know, my sandwich can fit here so that if I'm not stopping in a lodge, I can go ahead and eat my lunch right then and there. I should dump my water out. Water dumped. I would pat it with a paper towel like this. And this is sold as a dog dish, a dog bowl. In my, you know, right here. And I'm off skiing, right? Lift, not lift. And so the mountain I was on yesterday was this one. I'm going to switch views back to this one so you can see where I was. Killington. You can download the map online somewhere if you want. Probably their website. All the advertisements, all the things. Here's the mountain. So we parked. Should I? I mean, I could hit it with a really big marker if we wanted. We parked here, I think. Yeah, we parked right here. See that? That's where we parked. Got it? And the place where we skied the most was was it here or was it here? I think it was here actually. Up. Hold on, I gotta see. I gotta figure this out. Yeah, we parked here. We went up this quad and over here and kept going down. So we ended up, we didn't take, because we did not do the gondola. We were not going to do the gondola with the COVID pandemic. Yeah, so that's the gondola. So we made it over here. And then we were going up and down this one, the Superstar Express quad. Yeah, that looks right. And so the ski slope that I just drew, if that's accurate, which I think it is, was this one, and it's called Superstar. We did not ski it. While we were, yeah, that's it. While we were riding up the lift, it sounded like ice. And if it sounds like ice, I'm not taking it. I'm a spoiled skier. I grew up skiing in the Rocky Mountains. If it sounds like ice, I'm not going. Super spoiled princess skier. But it was a good day. There was fresh snow. There wasn't a lot of corduroy. I don't particularly enjoy corduroy, but it's a second best to fresh powder, usually in inches. Up here, we would take Nevis Walk quite a bit, and then down through here, and we took, so this was, a bunch of these were closed, but we would, I think it was Skylark that I liked the most. Yeah, Nevis Walk over here, Skylark, and down. I really enjoyed that. Bittersweet. I took High Road and Low Road, but Skylark was delightful. So that's it. This is the view that I drew right here. Ready? Right here. That's my view that I just drew live for you on camera. So this painting will be called Superstar. Yeah, it's gonna be called Superstar, which is a great title for a painting. And yeah, that's it. I don't know. That's what we skied. This side of the mountain didn't seem open yet. But we skied a bunch through here and here. It was a good warm-up day for skiing, for having not skied for a year and a half. I enjoyed it. You know, my foot. So those of you painting If a Star, Superstar. What? I'm lost. Painting of a star. No, it's Superstar. The run is Superstar. I keep naming my paintings of ski slopes after the slope that I painted. So I think I will continue that. You know, when I'm famous and people are tracking everywhere I skied based on the paintings that I made, they'll be like, wait, they had this run called Superstar back in those years that we don't have anymore because of climate change. I don't know. But yeah, we parked here, skied this, went over here. There was a tunnel. We went under it. That was kind of fun. There aren't a lot of tunnels in the mountain I'm used to out west. we skied mostly green, blue, and then a little bit of black, just this black here, which was a good first start. I do look forward. I think I'd go back. I think I'd go back and ski more. I need to work on my quads, my long hold quads. Painting of a star called Superstar is painting of a star, the sun. Aha, I see. Yes, this is the first time I've painted a star in my paintings, soul specifically. Yes, painting of a star, and the slope is called Superstar. That's hilarious. They probably know that everyone stares at the sun when they're going up that lift. Might be part of it, the reason it's called that. Yeah, I would go back and ski that again, especially with the crowds at the level they were. But I'm gonna have to figure out how to stay warm and break and ski and paint. Does that make sense? I need to figure out how to stay warm, take a full break, and then get back skiing without hanging out in the lodge. Suggestions welcome. Anyone else who skis. I see my Nordic friend is not present. He probably has suggestions. Yeah, I don't know. How do I stay warm, keep my fingers warm while I paint? Morning? Oh, morning! Are you just waking up? How'd your exams go? Are you breaking yet? Dom? Are you breaking? Are you on a break? We're talking about skiing. Because I just did a painting of a ski slope. Oh, that sounds miserable. Yay, holidays. Yeah. You know, forgetting my cell phone north, an hour and 15 minutes north of here, wasn't a terrible thing overnight as my first night not actively teaching, because it meant I didn't check my emails and worry about my students. I mean, I was still worried about them because there are two students in particular with some health and family stuff that I'm worried about. But you know, it's hard being a teacher because you see these things and you know you can only help so much, and you see the kids hurting, either sick or with family situations, and it breaks your heart. Yay, holidays! Woo! Are we excited for the holidays? Here, for those of you that missed it, that weren't here when I started, here's what I did last week. I poured resin over some glitter Christmassy ornament balls. One to contain the glitter, because I love glitter, but we don't want it on everything else. And then I wanted to make it drippy skull creepy. It didn't go skull creepy, but it did go drippy creepy. So I'm pretty happy with that. And this one has a nice little stalactite that I'm quite proud of. And it will break off one day and I'll be sad. This one also has a stalactite, and that's nice. I feel like I'm gonna poke someone with it. This one turned out probably one of the better ones. So this one, all the others were pre-coated. This one I did not pre-coat in resin, and it has some of the best drips. Anyways, the green went nice too. And remember, this was all the same batch of resin, just different mica powders mixed in to make the colors. But yeah, so, you know, this is one of my very happy, I'm proud of paintings, but it didn't look like this in my head. It didn't look like this in my head. And the one I just did, we'll pull it out of my travel bag on the cold pressed paper because I like the texture, right? So this is the painting I just did, and that is the view that I painted. Well, I saw this view while riding the Superstar Express quad, and it was glorious as we crested that hill. It was good stuff. It was very good stuff. What else? Well, Dom, I hope you passed everything and that you only have to retake the one that was a challenge. What else? Yeah, so don't be hard on yourself as an artist. I say that about myself, but I say it for you too, for you as well. We fail most things. Oh, Dom, I'm so sorry. Oh. Oh. Oh, your scholarship is safe, so it's not a big deal. Okay, yay, celebrate. Scholarship is safe. Good, I'm glad. I'm so happy for you. If you liked watching this, oh, you guys. If you liked watching this, do subscribe if you're not already. I'm close to affiliate, so every subscriber helps me. I usually stream on Wednesdays at about 1:30. This week was a little different because I was skiing yesterday. Yeah, I might ski I'll definitely ski a little extra this year. But I might stream a little extra over the break if you guys are interested in that. I don't know. I'm not promising anything. It'll be a wild, I'll pop up and you guys can join me. I'm not going to promise it because it's going to depend on my mood. I have some cookies I need to bake though for tonight. I'm doing a fun trolley ride through town to look at Christmas lights. Maybe you'll get some more fun videos of me. Probably not. I might turn off. I don't know. But I need to make some more cookies for that event. So we ride around town on a trolley with the windows down. So we're all COVID safe, but still having a holiday fun thing. A trolley, for those that don't know, is like a bus, but more old fashioned looking and usually has a bell. It goes ring, 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 ring. San Francisco is kind of more popular for them. But we have some locally because we used to have trolley tracks and now they're trolley buses. I don't know. I'm thinking about buying a trolley. All of that said. New Orleans, that's right. That's right. New Orleans is known for its trolleys as well. Yeah. British English. I didn't get it. Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm glad I explained with the ring, ring. That helped, right? It has a very specific ringing bell to it. Yeah, a trolley in English, British English is like a shopping cart, right? I don't know. Like the boot of the car. That's the one I always think of. But yeah, so if you liked watching me, do subscribe. I do stuff like this on the regular, whether it's painting, experimenting with resin on Christmas ornaments. What else do I do? I'm going to be doing some more bag stuff. I'm going to be doing some modification of my ski equipment to accommodate disabilities and COVID protection. That's what I should draw next. So Dom just said, though to be fair, riding around in a shopping cart looking at Christmas lights sounds nice too. Yeah, the homeless do it all the time. Bad joke, right? Yeah, that was a bad joke. Sorry, homeless people without homes. Yeah, don't do that, or do that, or whatever you need to be happy. If that's how you go around looking at Christmas lights, do that. It does sound open air safe, COVID friendliness. Yeah. I deeply regret that one. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we're going to be riding around in like a trolley. It's like a bus, but different, more old-fashioned-ness. I don't know. Dress warm, bring cookies. That's what I was told. Yeah, so that's my stream for today. Any questions about being an artist? That's right. Riding in shopping carts is COVID friendly. It really is. They hardly, you can't fit more than one person. It's outdoors, which you all know outdoors activities are far more safe and less likely to get sick. So, but no, a trolley as in, you know, San Francisco, New Orleans, trolleys used to be on train track likeness, kind of open air, like a bus, but old fashioned. Yeah, so the experiments, how they turned out, I don't know if I'll do them again. I don't know if I love them. I mean, I kind of like them. More paintings. What should I do next week? Next time, trams. Trams, that's another word for them. There you go. Trams, trolleys, vintage. Yes, all of that. Those are all things. Trams on rails, trolleys, buses on rubber wheels. Yeah, trolleys are buses on rubber. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad we've discovered that distinction. It's important. Trams are on rails. What else? I don't know. I gotta make some cookies, okay? I made some pecan shortbread and I'm thinking about making a lavender shortbread. For fun. Because why not? I'm telling you. Lavender shortbread. I have a friend. She likes lavender in food. It's weird. But I'm not gonna stream the making of the cookies. I'm gonna put my hair up and I'm gonna get messy. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna get going. Peace, love, and science. May you have peace, love, and science, and the best holiday experience that you're looking for. Radish kimchi. Creme de violet in food is cool too. I will look into that. Kind of lavender. Yeah, I'll think about it. So I was thinking about doing I think we've still got some Buddha's hand that I can zest and, you know, add some lavender to that, and it'll be delightfully acidic, cookie-wise. Radish kimchi. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty excellent. Lavender and blueberries. I do have some fresh blueberries. You don't want to keep you up, and there are some friends on Discord to annoy. Okay, cool. No, I get it. I'm gonna go make cookies. I don't know. I'm wandering a little bit. So I'm gonna go make cookies, and I hope you all have your wonderful holidays if I don't see you before that. And like really relax. Peace, love, and science. As you know, always, peace, love, and science.